The reason I know this verse, is because of God's grace touching me in my life. I think the foreknowledge maybe that God had that if that grace came upon me, that I would accept it and take that gift and use it. I had a player of mine in 2014 that was hit and killed by a drunk driver, and got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning in April. And as I was driving, he was from Texas, as I was driving to the airport, I was wondering, like, how well did I really know this kid? And how am I going to, what am I going to say to his parents when I pick him up? And so I went to Facebook to find out, is there anything that I can look at and figure out how I could connect with this young man and his parents. And it wasn't on the first page, but you dive into it, Facebook, and at that point in time I wasn't really a Facebook guy. And somewhere down deep in more about Matthew was Psalm 27. And I picked up his family, and they led me through this walk, of leading my team through a really difficult tragedy. And I start with that because, I had darkness. I mean, there was a ton of darkness. In the summer of 2009, I was in commercial real estate, and my mom was dying, and I basically at that point had for 26 years a drink or a drug in me every single day of my life. And I thought it was normal. That's what I saw when I was growing up. Product of an Irish Catholic family. Seeing people carried out of my house on a Sunday afternoon from a brunch. Parents, friends. Around the Lacrosse community. Youngest of 5 kids. Going to tailgates, etc. None of that though. Actually put a drink or a drug in my hand. It was me and the decisions and my insecurities and the fears and all that stuff that drove me. And I had no refuge. And for 26 years, that pain ultimately built up in me. And it got to a point where I couldn't go on any longer, me personally. And, I finally asked for help. Now, what was driving all that for 26 years essentially was the God that I grew up understanding was a punishing God. If I ate a wafer, of food or a morsel of food an hour before I went to communion, I was going to hell. I mean, the doctor, all those things that just sat in the back of my head, I was going to hell. And the decisions I made during those 26 years, the lies, the cheating, the stealing, all piled up on top of me, I was going to hell. So what do I need God for? Nothing could save me. And then I reached out for help. I said, God, please help me. And in August 30th, 2009, God reached into my life. I had been in church that summer. Again, my mom was dying. And I felt like I was the only person in that room hearing the message. And meanwhile, it was the church full of people. It was a vibrant community. And I could look around and I could see that lives were changing. And there was hope. And that hope was God for me. I go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. I try and serve people. And, in 2009, my life started to change because of God and God's grace. And that free gift that He offers us. And over time, I was in church by myself. Father, married, 2 kids, my wife, she was there through it all. We met in college. She would look at me and say, once you start, you can't stop. You don't have an off switch. 0 to 60 in, 0.5 seconds. And I didn't want to see any of that. And then ultimately, again, God's gift, God's grace, no connection with my family towards church, I started going back. My kids this summer, they were part of a student ministry band that recorded a CD of Christian contemporary music. My wife, my 2 kids on Sunday nights, and myself, we are part of a student ministry. My wife's parents divorced. Catholic Church granted her dad an annulment. She had a huge resentment towards the church, wanted no part of God. She saw life change in me. She saw life change through the Bible, the good news and the truth of God's Word. She's now standing up there on a Sunday night yelling at 6th grade, 7th grade kids, "We're so glad to see you. Welcome. I missed you." It's not me, it's God. It's the good news and the truth that's offered to each and every one of us. You know, should we take the simple action of making our minds, our hearts open to the good news. And you know, this journey of God in my life has opened the doors of lacrosse. Because at one point in time, I thought I was going to be a coach. I really did. But I couldn't be a coach. I didn't graduate right away. You know, so an offer to coach, I couldn't accept because I didn't have my degree. Because I was a train wreck. And it's a good thing that I didn't get that job once upon a time. I can look back at that now and know that I'm in a different place. And because of God, this is God's plan. And me being there on April 13th of 2014 at BWI to meet a family was God's plan. And I was able to share with them Psalm 27. And they didn't realize that was their son's go-to verse. So I'm blessed that FCA is a part of my life now. You know, I'm excited about the opportunity that God has put in front of me to challenge me, to convict me that, you know what, I can't just, you know, stand up there on Sunday nights at my church and say, "Oh, this is great, you know, hey," and then go to Goucher and look like a buffoon on the sidelines. Look like a buffoon in the locker room. You know, I've got, you know, this is an opportunity for me to grow in my faith, grow as a person, be challenged, and I'm excited about the opportunity to influence the lacrosse community through the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Lacrosse Ministry. It's awesome to see everybody here. I appreciate you taking a minute to listen to me. And thanks, Frank, for giving me the opportunity.